Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Mary, Queen of Scots. And going into this year, this was one of my most anticipated films this whole entire year. My favorite actress right now is Saorise Ronan, love her. And Margot Robbie is great, and I was so ready for this film, ready for this to be a big award season darling. And then reviews started coming out, I'm like, no! And then I saw it, and I'm like, yep, I understand. This personally was super disappointing, but it's fine. It's a fine film. And that's the highest praise I could potentially give it. Because you're sitting and watching this film. This is directed by Josie Rourke. And this film, pacing-wise, kind of just like, you're trying to pull out of this movie of like a direction and a sense of purpose and a sense of urgency, because this film never feels like it has any urgency. It's taking place over like 20 years, and it's just like, which, a quick side note, the fact that they don't make Saoirse Ronan look any older throughout this whole entire film really bothered me. Sorry. They make Margot Robbie look older, and because Queen Elizabeth had to wear a lot of makeup anyway. But like, this film's about Queen of Scotland, Mary Seward, and it just slogs on a lot because it really doesn't feel like it's going anywhere in particular. There's certain scenes that do feel really intense and really hit emotionally. And those are the scenes you're like, oh my god, why can't the rest of this film have that kind of energy? And then you go back to the same old kind of thing. And not to say that this film isn't well put together. This is a really well put together film. The storytelling, though, it's kind of like, what's the story? What are we trying to get to? It's like, is it a biography? It's like, is this a biopic? Is this a period drama? Is this like a war film? Because there's a little bit of that too. It kind of has a lack of identity. And tonally, there's some fun moments, there's some really dark moments, and it's kind of just like, there. And I feel like a lot of the writing, this is written by Beau Willimon, and it's like, what's this film about? A lot of backroom politics, and it has strong female leads, and about feminism and women trying to stand up in a world of men, and all these men being like, we have to be up to whims of women, and it's kind of like, kind of in your face about some of the stuff. It's just like, there's certain characters that are just there to be like, I'm gonna twist everything that goes on because she's a woman, she's a hoe, basically the equivalent of calling her a harlot. And it's like, they have this man in her chambers, so she must be sleeping around all the time. They like call her a sow and like all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, God, this movie. And it's like, all the men in it are just so dumb. And they just warp everything to make it dumber and make no sense and jump to these dumb conclusions. And all the male characters in this film are all either one-dimensional or have crazy shifts in their characters that it's just like, where'd that come from? And obviously the two leads in this film are great. Saoirse Ronan is an amazing actress, does a fantastic performance in this. And Margot Robbie, who's honestly not in it anywhere as much as you probably would think. She's definitely not a leading actress in this film. She's definitely a supporting actress. She does a really good job too. But a lot of the times it's like, why is she in this movie? Like, I know why she's important on some level and historically in this time period, but like, as a character in this film, she never feels like she becomes super important at any particular moment until this movie like focuses on her. And then it's just like, I don't know. This film was so much just chattering about stupid politics, and it wasn't interesting. And when it comes down to it, this film really isn't that interesting. Doesn't really grab you, doesn't keep your attention for 2 hours, and it's kind of like, Okay. But the thing is, it's so gorgeous. The production design, the costume design is impeccable. The hair and makeup, impeccable. This is one of those films that's like, this should get nominated for all of those things at the Oscars because it is a gorgeous film. And the color palette, the cinematography done by John Matheson, the beautiful shots of like behind actor and actresses' heads and how the camera's tracking behind them, so well done in this film and makes for some great shots. And the camera work is great. The music by Max Richter is beautiful, and there's particular themes that go throughout it that are very memorable for this film in particular that feel sweet, and there's some melancholia going on with some of this music, but like it just feels like here's a thing and here's another thing, and I'm pulling on some of my fandom as a wrestling fan. It's like oh my god, the heel face turns in this movie where it's like, he's a good guy now he's a bad guy again, he's a good guy now, or like they turn into a bad guy, or they turn into a good guy, and it wasn't earned at all, and it's just like, my god, just figure out if this person's an antagonist or not. And it just kind of feels that way, and the supporting cast is kind of wasted. Really, the memorable performances is like Guy Pearce is such a great actor. He just brings presence to his character, who's basically just like in Queen Elizabeth's ear the whole time. And then David Tennant with his really obnoxious Scottish accent is so great in his smaller role, but he's like really, he's one-dimensional. He's just there to stir the pot and be like, everything that Queen Mary wants that's true is wrong, and just like inciting people, calling her a harlot and a whore, and basically all that stuff. But like, he has tons of presence, and that's why he's memorable, and a killer beard that's like down to here, and a fun hat. But like, besides that, it's just like, why? And that's what's disappointing about this film. I might be a little more hard on this, to be perfectly honest, because I was disappointed, but it's a beautifully crafted, well-acted period piece that really doesn't justify a lot of it because it's kind of just boring and uninteresting, which is sad because this situation seems like super interesting, but it just didn't turn out that way. I think if you're really into period pieces and you can just enjoy the craft of being in this time period, go ahead. Because honestly, it's a lot of just sitting around looking at people dressed up like this time period. So it's kind of like, that's what you want. That's what you get. If you want anything beyond just a beautiful film and strong performances, this really isn't going to be for you, and probably not worth your a little over 2 hours to watch this film. Let me know what you think. Comment. Let's talk about it if you've seen it, or if you have any questions, elaborate further. But thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland reviewer.